everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and today is week number 17 of my pregnancy updates. I will do week 18 next week, and then I'm going to be taking the month of June off. Johnny is off work all month, Olivia is out of school all month, and we're just doing family time, we're doing vacation. We've got a couple of small trips planned along with our beach vacation, and it's gonna be just a jam-packed month, so I'm just gonna not film anything the whole month. I may have some videos pop up that I have already filmed because I realized I have a couple of videos that I haven't yet had time to edit, and so I think I'm going to save those, and if I can wing it, I will put some of those up during the month of June. Otherwise, my channel and my Instagram will just be blank for the month, and then I'll come back in July. I'm just going to hop down my list of things. So this is week 17. Baby is the size of a pomegranate. On the app, it says baby's like 5.2 inches long, so baby's starting to get a little bit bigger, and I can definitely tell the last couple weeks I've just really noticed an increase in like my breathing. I'll talk about some new symptoms. I cannot like twist my body. I just can't. It's just too much stuff in the front, so I can't twist. I'm having trouble bending. I'm just getting to where the middle section of me is getting in the way of my normal everyday range of motion. So that has been really weird and different. Like all my symptoms, they're just happening a lot sooner. That's the overarching theme of all of these pregnancy updates. Everything is just happening so quick this time. I'm definitely noticing being out of breath more. I'm also a lot more congested. This has just been kind of an ongoing thing, but I've noticed it more and more. These symptoms just seem to be increasing. So that's just a pregnancy symptom. Your nasal passages can get a little bit swollen because of all the extra fluids and things. I feel like I have to blow my nose a lot, even though hardly anything ever comes out. It's just everything's really swollen in there. As far as the nausea, I had a couple of pretty bad nausea spells. It seems like I'll have a bad day or two a week on these weeks where I still feel mostly okay. Like I felt mostly okay this week. There were a couple of nights I cooked dinner and the smells just totally turned me off, and then I don't really end up eating much of anything. Basically the rest of the evening I just don't eat a whole lot because it just kind of grosses me out. So there was one night, I think this meals video popped up for you guys on Tuesday, but it's just I cooked some barbecue chicken and broccoli, and I hardly ate any bites of my macaroni and cheese. That's the only thing I put on my plate, and I had just a few bites of it, and I just could not stomach all of the smells. It's just the combination of the rosemary potatoes that we ended up just throwing away, and then the barbecue sauce, and then also the broccoli. Like all those smells combined, I felt so sick for a couple of hours after that. I did end up having to take a nausea pill because I was like this close to having to go to the bathroom and throw up, and it was just brutal. Smells can really set me off like that, and that was one of the worst nights of this week, but that does happen when I'm just cooking something, or I'll get a whiff of something while we're out and I'm just like, oh, I feel so nauseous right now, and usually it'll pass, but it was just too strong at that point and I needed the medicine that one night. But other than that, I don't think I took the Zofran at all. I was still on the heartburn meds, and I did not realize I'm on Prevacid or Pepcid, but I had them confused. It's actually kind of like Zantac the way it works. I thought it was a proton pump inhibitor, and it's not. It's just a neutralizer like Zantac. So I feel much better taking it twice a day, because pretty much I still take it twice a day. It's just one of those things that even before like the 12 hours runs out, you can take it 12 hours or twice a day. Even before that 12-hour mark is running out, I am starting to feel the heartburn and feel nauseous and just feel really uncomfortable and nasty, and once I take the medicine, it starts feeling normal again. So I'm just having raging heartburn. So as far as like aches and pains, I'm having some back aches and pains. I'm still having the sciatica a little bit, but not so much this week. It's mostly like in my lower back, almost like tailbone area. And then also my gums are actually hurting this week. They've been just kind of sore. I felt they've been swollen, and that's just a pregnancy thing. Flossing, your gums might bleed a whole lot more during pregnancy, but now they're like sore. Especially like near the back, they're sore. I'm really trying to floss them extra well, and hopefully alleviate some of that. But it's like in the middle of the day, my teeth and my gums will start hurting, and I'll start flossing like in the middle of the day randomly. And baby girl is actually moving a whole lot more. I was feeling like rolling motions. I just suspect that's when the baby's moving their whole body around. I was feeling a rolling motion, but now I'm feeling like teeny tiny little jab feelings. And I think that might be limbs or the head or something just moving around. So I'm feeling those every once in a while, not as frequently as the rolling motion. It is still one of those things I have to be like perfectly still to notice it. I can't notice it just walking around. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling more different motions. I call them jabs because that's just kind of what it feels like. And they're super duper faint and tiny. I know it's just gonna get stronger and stronger, but it's really nice to be able to feel those movements. It can be just like when I'm sitting eating dinner, sometimes I'll feel some, where it used to be just basically when I'm laying down perfectly still, like about to fall asleep. That's when I would feel more movements. One of the symptoms I don't think I have talked about yet, but has been a really, really bad problem the last few weeks. It is really hard for me to film, and you guys may notice I'm doing a lot more chops to the videos. It's like I'll say 2 sentences sometimes and then have to chop like every 2 seconds of the video because I totally forget words. Just totally randomly forget what word I'm trying to say. Pregnancy brain is a thing, so I'm definitely calling it that. I'm just losing words. Like, we were eating dinner one night and I was talking to Johnny about hot cocoa and I could not think of the word hot cocoa. I was like, okay, it's warm, it comes out of the Keurig, it's chocolate, and I could not think of the word. And he's like, okay, it starts with co, and I was like, it's hot, it comes out of the Keurig. I was getting frustrated and he's like, okay, you're trying to think of hot cocoa. I basically said hot and chocolate in my like description of it. I could not think of the words hot cocoa for the life of me. It's just things like that where I totally forget words. Like in the middle of me filming a grocery video or filming a meals, I'll be like, okay, I've got bananas and blah, and I'll forget the word like blueberries. Like, I know the word blueberries. I'm looking right at the package of blueberries and I cannot think of the name blueberries, and it just happens randomly. It's definitely more obvious when I'm filming, and I will not even say the right word sometimes, and I will film it, not even realize I said the wrong word, and then go in to edit it and I was like, wow, I don't know what I was thinking when I was filming this, but I used the wrong words here, and I have to like really chop and edit way more than I used to have to do. So pregnancy brain has really been affecting me. I've noticed it more and more the last few weeks. I'm just losing words. As far as cravings, I'm not having anything that I'm super duper enjoying at this point in time, except 2 things, and they're both terrible things. Chips and salsa. You guys know I love the Clint's Texas salsa. It comes in a little jar, and I blasted through 2 of those this week. I blasted through 1 last week, 2 this week, and I bought 2 more. So I will probably blast through 2 more this next week. I've just been obsessed with it, and that's one of the few things I'm eating just purely for pleasure. The other one that I really have liked lately is root beer, and it has to be A&W root beer. I like root beer with a little bit of a kick. Some root beers are really like super duper sweet and syrupy, and this one has a little bit of a kick. It's also, of course, syrup. It's sweet, and it's terrible for you. We don't even usually buy sodas, but I have just been obsessed with A&W root beer, so I'm limiting my amount every day. It is caffeine free, thankfully, but it's still just garbage food, total garbage food. At least like with the salsa's made with tomatoes and fresh things, and there's no justifying at all having soda. It's just pure sugar, pure syrup. I'm really shocked because I just don't drink soda. It's just one thing. We'll buy root beer here and there to have root beer floats as like a dessert. It's not something I usually drink, but I've just been obsessed with it. I've been having some every day. I like to buy the bottles so that I can seal them back up and have them the next day or the day after that too, so I can just have as much as I want. Whereas I feel like with a can, you open it, you have to drink it or lose it, and I'd be much more likely to drink that whole thing every time I open it, versus if I'm craving root beer, I could just take a couple sips, close it up, stick it back in the fridge until the next like craving hits me. But if you watched my grocery video this week, you'll see I bought a ton of it. It was like a little bit less than half price. It was buy one, get one free, and one was like $3.88 for the 6-pack of bottles. And Johnny was just making fun of me for this actually this morning because I drank like this much out of the bottle this morning and I stuck it back in the fridge. He's like, wow, those 100 bottles of root beer are gonna last us a lifetime at this rate because I only drink like a little bit. But I'm not gonna lie, some days I finish the entire bottle, some days I just drink a little bit, and he was just giving me a hard time about it because I drank a few sips, stuck it back in the fridge, and he's like, we have a bunch of these. He actually helped me bring in that grocery haul, and he's like, I cannot believe how many sodas you bought, because he knows I just don't buy sodas. I'll buy him like one in the refrigerator section every once in a while, but it's just not something that we buy regularly. And he's like, wow, this is crazy. You bought a billion of these. Anyway, so those are my 2 like main, I got to have them cravings. And unfortunately, neither one of them are that great for you. But I've also got a couple of healthier cravings. I've been craving mushrooms. I opened a can of mushrooms to make something this week, and I ate the whole can. It was just a little can, but I'm gonna buy more of those canned ones because they're just so easy to snack on. Actually, my next snack is gonna be the other can of mushrooms, even though I was gonna use it for something else. I also have 2 things of fresh mushrooms in the fridge, for this week. I've also been craving pineapples. I had like one big can of pineapple that's just been in the pantry forever. I've also been craving cucumbers with ranch dip. I made the ranch dip. I'll link to that down below. I'll probably link it in next week's meal video because I made the dip this week. And then some other not so healthy random cravings. One night I was just really craving a cheeseburger. You saw that in the meals video. I just called Johnny before he left. I was like, please pick me up a cheeseburger with fries. I just really wanted it. I blame my best friend for that one. She made me watch something where they got In-N-Out and I was like, oh, I need a burger. And I'm still loving the ice creams. It has been in the 90s here. And so I've just been craving the ice cream because it's nice and cold. And again, in the meals video, I bought like 4 packs of those drumsticks and Johnny was like, wow, I can't believe you're buying all this ice cream, because we'll buy ice cream here and there, but not like boxes and boxes of it. Again, it happened to be buy one, get one free, so I took advantage of that deal. And I've also been craving just meat. I really liked bacon. I heated up the little pepperoni slices and just ate some of those. I still had some breakfast sausages in the freezer from weeks and weeks back. I bought 2 things of breakfast sausages and I went through those this last week. I've just been craving meaty type things. I think that kind of goes along with the burger craving too. I'm just craving meaty type things, and it's so different from Olivia's pregnancy. Over her whole pregnancy, there were only a couple of meaty things I craved. I craved Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches, and those gross me out right now. The thought of them grosses me out. And I also craved shrimp egg rolls in the beginning of her pregnancy, and it's mostly because of the cabbage and the outside of it, not so much for the shrimp. And then one time during her pregnancy, I craved an Arby's beef and cheddar. Johnny and I have been together since we were teenagers, and we used to go to Arby's like all the time as teenagers, and we hadn't had it in years and years, and we have not had it since that pregnancy craving. I had it and I just felt so miserable after having it, her pregnancy. In the early parts of this pregnancy, I told him, do not let me get a beef and cheddar because I felt so sick after it. He still will joke with me about that beef and cheddar. It was the one thing that really was just such a random weird craving last time. But as far as the meaty things, I'm craving seafood, the shrimp. I can't wait to go to the beach because I'm gonna just eat all the seafood. I just want all of it and it'll be really fresh and delicious. So going along with all these horrible for you cravings, I gained 3 pounds this week, which is I think my highest so far. I am officially at 10 pounds this pregnancy, which is actually pretty good. I think for the first trimester, you're supposed to be somewhere between 5 and 10 pounds. I'm already a few weeks into the second trimester and I'm just now hitting that 10-pound mark. It has been because I've been so sick and I've not been really enjoying food most of the time. Even talking about the cravings, most of the time, these are just the things that won't churn my stomach to think about eating. Whereas like if I think about eating broccoli, I want to throw up. It's just grosses me out. The smell of it grosses me out, and I can't even stomach a lot of regular foods. So I don't have any new discoveries this week, but I do want to compare this pregnancy to my pregnancy when I had Olivia. At week 17, I was talking about crying spells a bunch, and I've had that for weeks and weeks now. I just have random crying spells, and I'll be listening to a song that's not even a sad song. One of the songs I remember is Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. It just came on my mix thing on my phone, and I lost it. Just started bawling to it, and I don't know what it was about it, but something about the lyrics in it made me just bawl. And the other thing I mentioned that was noteworthy in that week 17 update was I was starting to feel what I thought were flutters, the baby moving. So that was week 17, and I started feeling that around week 11 and week 12 this time around. I think I mentioned it a few weeks after that I was really noticing this, and it's so different this time. You know, week 17 versus week 11 or 12, that's a big jump in time. So the best thing this week is the more movements. I don't know, I just get a sense of calm when I know that the baby's there and I can feel the baby moving. And with Olivia's pregnancy, from the time of feeling her, basically, she just never stopped moving. I always could feel her. I never had to do kit counts. I never worried about her not moving. I would feel her all the time, just moving around. And I really hope that this pregnancy is the same, where I can feel the movements quite frequently and I don't have to worry so much, because I know if your baby's not moving around a lot, it could be a worrisome feeling, and I didn't have that with her, and I really hope I don't have that this time. And then the worst thing is the nausea and just not really enjoying a whole lot of stuff. I just feel like at this point in my pregnancy with Olivia, I was just going hog wild on the food, loving life, and I'm still kind of feeling blah for the most part. Like every 12 hours, I go through the same cycle of feeling kind of yucky because my heartburn medicine wears off. We're well into the second trimester now, and I just kind of expected everything to go away, and I have the, you know, blissful pregnancy feeling, and I haven't felt that yet. I'm really happy and thankful that she's in there, and I love feeling her moving, and I'm glad that the nausea is not so bad, but it's still not great. I'm still really tired. Like when Johnny's home on the weekend, I usually take naps. I will go lay down and like, oh, just rest my eyes, and then I end up sleeping for a couple of hours, and I'm so thankful he just jokes around with me, like with stuff like that. He has just been the most supportive man, but I still feel like such a lazy little slug because I don't do anything hardly at all during the day. I mean, I take care of my kid and my goal is to make dinner. Like that's the only goal I really have, but I just don't do a whole lot. If I get moving around too much, I start feeling the nausea, I start feeling worse. I also exhaust myself really easily. So he has been picking up so much slack, and I know, you know, it's a temporary thing, but I still like, I'm used to doing all the stuff in the house because he works during the day, and I feel like it's my job to, when he comes in the door, I want him to be able to relax with me. And I don't want him to have to worry about, I'm washing one load of clothes today and like that's my power this day. But I don't want him to have to worry about taking care of everything. And so it's been just kind of a hit to my ego to not be able to do as much. On the one hand, I know like it's temporary. I know that it's okay. I know that he's not like resentful or anything. But on the other hand, like me personally, I'm so like type A. I want to be in charge of things. I want to run the household smoothly, and I'm just not doing that. I'm totally dropping the ball with everything right now. And I'm sure it's going to get worse over time. The bigger I get, the less I'm going to be able to do. So going along with that, on the agenda, I've got 1.5 more weeks at this point until Johnny and Olivia are both home. I want to make sure that the house is ready to have all 3 of us home. So I'm gonna work on some cleaning this week, and I definitely want to have all of us make sure the house is clean before we leave for vacation. And that's just something I like to do. Before we ever leave, I like to scrub the house from top to bottom so that when we come home, everything's perfect and nice. And going along with like the no energy thing, I have a lot of video ideas for pregnancy and mommy related things. I've got a list of them in my phone, and I have great ideas, but I have 0 energy. Like basically this is the only video I film every week. I maybe film one other one here and there, but that's it. Like I have no energy to film, whereas before I would have one video going up pretty much every day, and I could film 2 or 3 videos a day, not even think about it at all. And now it's like, oh, I have to film my pregnancy video. I have to kind of like talk myself into doing it. It's just that 0 energy thing, and I'm waiting for that to kick in. I really want that second trimester energy boost. I did have one question asked. It's what kind of diapers do you plan on using? And my only answer to that is not cloth diapers. You guys know I failed at that last time. Olivia had really, really bad sensitive eczema skin, and the cloth diapering just totally did not work for her. And I wasn't going to let her be rashy while I was trying to learn and experiment. And so we just called the whole thing off after a couple of attempts. I just put her in regular diapers. We're totally doing disposable diapers. I don't even care. That's basically it. I really just don't care. I don't know what kind of disposables we'll use because we did try out a few different ones with her. We really liked the Honest Company ones in the beginning. She was always one of those babies that did not just like tinkle a little bit throughout the day. She like would let everything out and the diaper would flood, and then she would get kind of rashy because those Honest ones did not hold as much. They weren't quite as absorbent, and we switched her to Pampers. We tried a few other ones with her, but we ended up switching to Pampers Baby Dry with her and sticking with them because she didn't have hardly any rashy issues with the Pampers at all. And so we'll try to do the same thing. We'll experiment a little bit. We'll try to stick with more natural ones if we can wing it. And if this baby does the same thing as Livy, we will just put her in the most absorbent diapers we can find, no matter what kind they are. And that's it. So let's look at the belly. I did not wear a dress today because I actually bought a bunch of shirts from Old Navy. So I'm showing off one of my Old Navy tank tops here. Here it is. I've got all these, and they are really long. So I know that they will be fine when my belly gets humongous. It's already starting to be pretty big. So here is week number 17 belly. Front and this side, you can see that. It's definitely large. My shorts are starting to feel a little bit tighter, and I'm getting more of a muffin look. I mean, I really don't want to look like a stuffed sausage, but at the same time, it's so temporary and I'm pregnant and I really don't give a flip. So I probably will just muffin top throughout the remainder of this pregnancy. And it feels so big. I feel like I'm totally out of breath at this point, even though I'm only close to halfway. I'm not even halfway yet. So It's just gonna get worse. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and ask me your questions down below. Have a great day and I'll catch you next time. Bye.